going to mention your full names.
Your name.
Because I don't know your names. Okay. I,
I,
your full name.
Abdoulaye Touré. I, Fafane S. Fatajo.
I, Dr. Haidara Sanya.
I, Sambende.
I have KSI.
Okay. Do hereby affirm that
Do hereby affirm that
I will speak the truth,
I will speak the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Good man. Okay. Yes. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Just a brief listing the objective of CPC, the mandate.
Yes.
Then after I talk about the projects and they will come in. Like I said, it was established in 2007, and the main purpose is to coordinate the implementation of donor-funded projects under the Ministry of Agriculture. And our core mandate is coordinate the implementation of donor-funded projects, design, conduct appraisals, conduct evaluation, appraisal, and project completion review evaluation after project closure. And also part of our mandate is undertake fiduciary, that is procurement and financial management of donor-funded projects. Now, our core mandate includes 5 up to 6. One of them is to mobilize resources through donors for agricultural development, and also do project appraisal, preparation of projects, which I'll come to later on, coordinate the monitoring and evaluation, undertake financial management and administration, program planning and knowledge management, and capacity building for project management, and other cross-cutting issues like climate change, youth, gender, and women. Now, today, as we speak, we have projects with a total portfolio of $290 million that has been mobilized from our traditional partners, and specifically to invest into agriculture sector. All these resources mobilized are focusing on enhancing special thematic areas like how do we enhance food security and nutrition, enhance income and value addition for farming population, especially women and youth, create employment through our projects, building resilience. We now understand this climate change, so most of the projects are taking resilience into the activities, and also develop rural infrastructure. Projects are also involved in building roads, access roads to enable farmers evacuate their produce, and if you come to rice also interfere roads to enable farmers move on with their produce. So projects are also into infrastructural development, like feeder roads, and also transformation of valued products into processing. We don't only stop at just producing, but processing to add value. Projects are focusing on that. We will hear from the different projects, and also export processed products. We support some SMEs, small and medium enterprises, their processed products and export. Although it's not at a larger scale, but at a smaller scale, and this is where we're moving on. And again, notwithstanding, promote youth and women. We understand women from the majority and also youth. So most of the projects here are also promoting youth activities and of course women. Now, since our main function is to mobilize resources, as we speak, apart from the 7 active projects that are here, we have also mobilized resources with our development partners, and probably by the end of the year, there are 3 projects that are in the pipeline. One of them is regional soil fertility management. This is a regional project funded by the ISDB. We are all aware our soils are very infertile. So we have discussed with the Islamic Development Bank to support us on how to improve our soil fertility. So the negotiation has been completed with the bank and also with the Minister of Finance. It's a $1 million loan. And so maybe before it is it has to be ratified, so it will come to the National Assembly for ratification. So $1 million US. The other project which is in the pipeline is P2RS. You are aware the phase one this year, the project director will discuss the achievements. We are also almost getting another phase two, which is the P2RS, building resilience with the Africa Development Bank. That's going to be about $10 million US. And I think by August, September, October, they will come for the project preparation. Then the third, yeah, that one is on grant. And it's only ISDB who are only most of the time on loan. Yes, but we are working towards that. Then we are also seeking another project. We are aware that access to finance for agricultural development is a challenge, even though projects are what we call matching grant for individuals, for group, for SMEs. But most of the time, agriculture is seen as a risky business because of the climatic conditions, pests and diseases, flood. So many people don't want to invest. But we have discussed with the Africa Development Bank, and there will be a project that is coming. It's called the Agriculture Risk Sharing and Lending Project. And it is up to about 10 million. It's about 6 point something UA. It's a 3-year project where they can de-risk that are involved in agriculture, access to finance. So these are the 3 projects that are in the pipeline. But CPC don't only stop at that. We're also going to support the ministry to coordinate the development of policies. One of them is the Agricultural and Natural Resources Policy, which has a span of 2017 to 2026. And we just completed another policy framework for revitalization of the cooperatives. In fact, that's got to the National Assembly, and thank God there will be a cooperative department under the Department of Agriculture. These are policies that we spearheaded and coordinated, and they are almost concluded. And then we have the second generation GNIPE. This is a ECOWAS Agricultural Investment Program, and we have completed that policy, which is from 2019 to 2016. The CIPRISA is a continental how we can become self-sufficiency. I think we distributed these copies to the National Assembly, the CIPRISA, the GNIPE, and also the Gambia Agricultural Transformation Program. We just distributed day before yesterday these policy documents to the chair, addressed to the chair. And that's the Agricultural Transformation Program. These are policies that we also do, and they are already completed, and of course the projects that we have done. So if you also want to know what we are doing or what the projects are doing or what we are doing, we have a website which is called www.cpcu.gm. Most of the new projects are there, and what all these policy documents are there. www.cpcu.gm. The Roots project also have a website that you can visit if you want. So some of these policies we have also shared with you guys, and the projects that are now active, we have the project directors here. I have their achievements and the plans, but I'll allow them to go through it one by one. Maybe we'll start with if you permit me, Chairman, the Regional Rice Value Chain Project, which is a regional project funded by the Islamic Development Bank, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Niger, and Senegal. So yeah, then from there we move on to another World Bank funded project, which is the Giraffe, Gambia Resilience Commercialization Project. Then to the Rice Transformation Project, which is formulated under these policies that I have mentioned, the GNIPE and also the GATEPA, Gambia Agricultural Transformation Program. Their documents have been sent to your office here. Then we will move on to the Small Ruminant Project. It's also funded by the Islamic Development Bank, focusing mainly on small ruminant. This is the first time we have a project that is purely on livestock. There's never been a project on livestock. It's either mixed or only cross. So we've been attacked by being biased. So we were able to secure that project. We'll hear from the project director, Mr. Nyai. Then we have the GAPSIC project, the Gambia Agricultural Food Security Project. This is, if you like, you can say the follow-up to FASTEP. We are aware of the FASTEP project. So this is headed by Mr. Sow. Then we have the another Islamic development project, which is the rice value chain, the building resilience. I just told you some of the thematic areas that we're focusing on is to look at the thematic areas like resilience. How can we build farmers resilience in the era of changing climate, flood, and so on and so on. So with the P2RS that I just mentioned that we're going to have another follow-up, it's almost closed officially in June, but the project director will also elaborate on the achievements and the challenges. All of them will elaborate on the achievements and the challenges. So this is where we are, and these are the projects that we thought can really help. Soil fertility, we are aware of fertilizers prices are increasing. So, but again, in the Gambia, you cannot tell, what fertility requirement do you need for groundnut or for maize in North Bank or URL. It's all blanket, So we want to have this project to tell us what is the soil fertility requirement in region by region. So it's a three-year project. It's already negotiated with the bank. Now it's a loan. So it has to come here for ratification. They have to send it to the board, to their board, the bank. Once it's approved, then it comes back to here. Then we do the necessary legal issues. And one of them is to ratify because 1 million is a loan. So, Chairman, thank you very much, and colleagues and honorable members, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come to this important body. So, if you permit, maybe.
Yeah, even if the project that was presenting, I think the new takeover form was about the total amount of money.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This was the name of the project.
Yeah. This is the regional rice value chain. Like I said, it's a 5-year project. It's a 5-year project, and it's 29 point something million US dollar. Gambia Islamic Development and Gambia government.
No, I mean the community should say that.
Okay.
After your presentation also, you want your team to submit us what they are.
Yeah. You'll share it with you. Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Honorable Dabolo, Chairperson of the Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, and Madam Vice Chair, and honorable members of the House. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My colleagues, good morning. With the permission of the Chair, I will be very brief, not very, very brief. I will give you the 3 points of the projects, and then the presentation will be made available to you. My name is Fafande Patajo, the project director for Regional Rice Value Chain Development Project. RRBCDP and RBCTP. These are 2 projects, but then people always confuse the 2. Regional Rice Value Chain Development Project, RRBCDP, and then Rice Value Chain Transformation Project. These are 2 projects. So I'm the coding project director for RRBCDP, Regional Rice Value Chain Development Projects. The project is currently operating in 5 countries, as the PG has alluded to: the Gambia, Senegal, Guinea-Conakry, Niger, and Sierra Leone. And it's $29.8 million project for 5 years, funded by Islamic Development Bank, BADIA, and the government of the Gambia. Now, the projects for Islamic ISDB is $17.3 million, their contribution. BADIA is $10 million, and government of Gambia $2.5 million. That's their contribution. And that amounted to $29.8 million for 5 years. The project aims to assist in the country achieve national rice production and commercialization.
When did the project commence?
2019, 2020.
Honorable Chair, also the 2.5 million counter contribution by is it in kind or in cash?
Now it's both in kind and cash, or they are contributing to the GLF is contributing the salaries of some of the staff, which is part of this 2.5 million. So it used to be kind before, allocation of resources here and there, office spaces, and so on and so forth. But now GLF is also contributing to these salaries.
I think if I got $480,000 is cash. That's in kind.
Yeah,
2 million is in kind.
to be specific. Yes.
480,000.
Yeah, about 2 million is in 10, and then 500,000 is what the final complex say. Yes, that's true. Is that okay?
You said the project starts from 2019 to
Yeah, 2019.
2023.
5 years project to 2023, 2024.
Okay.
Can I continue?
Yes, I continue.
Good. Thank you, Sergio, for that. The government and development partners provide the facilitation and enabling environment, and the is expected to raise the production and productivity from generally 2 metric tons per hectare to 4 to 5 metric tons per hectare. If you look at the productivity of rice in this country, it's 0.92 to 2 metric tons per hectare, when our potential in under-rainfall condition is up to 4 metric tons per hectare, and on the irrigated perimeter up to 7-8 metric tons per hectare. So presently, what we are getting country-wise is about 2 metric tons per hectare, when our potential is 4 to 5 metric tons per hectare. So the objective of the project is to move from 1.2 to 4 metric tons per hectare in the intervention areas. As I said, is to contribute to reducing the high importation, because the Gambia government spent a lot of hard currency on importing rice, particularly into the countries. It's about 80 to 90 million annually. And if you look at our per capita consumption of the food basket, it's 175 kg per person. But rice alone, 117 kg per person. So the other cereals and other consumables is about 58 kg per person. So a typical Gambian without rice for 2-3 days goes hungry. And this is what we're trying to move away from to the next level. The order is to support production and productivity. The objective or the main token administrative agriculture now is not just production. Production has 2 parameters: area under production and productivity. Now you can meet your production target with clearing all the land in the country, and your production target will be met. What the government is talking now is productivity, so that some other areas are left for other equivalent or equal activities. So we are into productivity, reduce the area under production and permit your production targets. You will see if the productivity is increased from 2 metric tons per hectare to 5 metric tons per hectare, then the area under production will be reduced, and still you meet your production target. And you will see our produce in the other international market, and that will mean bringing hard currency into the Gambia. We'll talk about that later. Increase smallholder farm income and reduce poverty and food insecurity in the country. Now, project is also through the value chain analysis, is to increase household income by diversifying. Now, the project is $29.8 million. Is not into production and productivity alone, but value chain analysis. To create opportunity for targeted rice farmers with objective to generate access to market. Now, those are the objectives. The project is intervening in 2 administrative regions, CRR and URR. Now, Central River Region, North and South, and then URR. In Central River Region, North, we are into 7 communities, and then in CRR South, we are into Pachar. Now, Pachar is composed of more than 30 communities, a production area, Jahal Pachar. Jahal and Pachar is not limited to Pachar and Jahal alone, but it's a production area where more than 30 communities are concentrating. So if you look at Jahal Pachar, it's not only Jahal and Pachar that are concentrating there, but you have other 30 or 36 or 50 communities that are concentrating in Jahal and Pachar. So we are intervening there, and we'll come to the area why we are intervening there. We'll be rehabilitating about 485 hectares of land to increase production and productivity in those areas, Jahal and Pachar, where you have more than 36 communities involved in that area. Now, as I said before, is to increase rice productivity from 2 metric tons to 4 to 5 metric tons, increase rice national production by 35%, wherever we are now. The projects intend to increase that production to 35% and increase rice self-sufficiency from 20 to 30%, wherever we are now. Increase income of 80,000 direct beneficiaries. Now, the project targeted 80,000 direct beneficiaries. Those are direct beneficiaries. The trickle-down effect can go up to 2.5 million people, the entire country. But the direct beneficiaries are 80,000 small farmers in the value chain. So you will see that if those 80,000 are reached directly, then the trickle-down effect can go up to triple that number, up to 2 million or up to 2.5 million, or even to people beyond the border of our country. And then 40,000 women and youths will definitely be that directly. We intend to create about 21,000 jobs, 15 from production and 6 from other segments in the value chain. Now, if you look at the value chain from when you identify the site of production to when you get the produce into the cooking pot, anybody within that who is targeted and not only limited to CRR North, South, and the new RR. For value chain, it can be anybody relevant to rice production. The project has 4 components. Component 1, raising rice production and productivity, as I said before. This component is focusing on land improvement, as the PC already alluded to. Our land are degraded, low in soil fertility, and so on and so forth. And we're not getting rain as before. Before 15th of June, if you have moisture content of the soil is enough, then farmers are advised to sow their crop up to 10th of October. For here we are now with climate change. Sometimes start early and you cannot even predict. With that predictability, even the distribution is questioned. You can see in a small area where it is raining there, you can even see rain raining where you are, there is no rain. That's happening and it's still happening. So it's to increase that and then trying to help farmers and diversify their production and productivity. Component 2 is agribusiness and market development. This component will focus on provision of infrastructure that could link farmers to market, road, as the PC alluded to, access road. Now you have the field road also. In the field, when you go there, if you have access so that the farmer, whatever they produce from the field, they are able to get it to the markets. Because there are 2 sides to agriculture. Production and marketing. Now, if you only concentrate on production and farmers are not only eating rice, then there's nothing on marketing, then the challenges is not overcome. So you have to look at the market. How do we link them to the market then? And there's no access road. Your produce is there. To get your produce from that field to the highway is difficult. No donkey cart, no horse cart, nothing, and you cannot put it on your head to transport whatever is produced there to the main road. So access road, 100 kilometers of access road will be developed. Now in the field also, if you go to the field also, you need to be motorable, or cart, donkey carts and so on can also be able to transport whatever is in the field to the access road and then to the market. So the component 2 is to do that. Road, storage, processing facilities. So, because if you only produce and there is no storage facilities, post-harvest losses in this country is very high, 25 to 30%, 35%, some would say, is very high. Now, if whatever you produce and 25, 30% of that is being consumed by post-harvest, whatever means, the transportation, insects here and there, rodents here and there, and even our mode of transportation. You go to the market and see as National Assembly members. In the morning, you see how women unloaded from the car or vehicle that transport people on top there, pam. And some of them physiologically, when they are damaged, nobody will offer anything. And within 2 hours, they're gone. So you look at the type of transport we also have in the system. Overload there, if you are unloading, offloading, it's terrible. And then before they even put it on the ground, the duty man is there, asking women to pay here and there. So it's difficult. There are a lot of things that they go through. Before you even have a space to sell your things, the duty man is there, giving you. If you don't get, they arrest you or they confiscate your things. So all those things we are looking at is diversified. It's not one area. Component 3 is policy and institutional support. This component will support public-private partnership, PPP. Now, PPP, we are into it. Why? We want to move our farmers from where we are, as PC alluded to the next level. How do we do that? It's not only on that small area where we produce. Now, half a hectare, 2 hectares maximum? No. But look at the private sector. What can they do? The enabling environment has been created by the government. Projects are there to develop the land. After development, what do? You leave it like that? It's not possible. So they will look at that one also and make sure we move to the next level. And component 4 is project management.
Sorry, Honorable Chair, before you move, you talk about the PPP. Can you give us example of those partnerships you have?
Now, there was a time last year, Honorable.
We can. That's a common question. We can ask him.
Okay, fine. Okay. Otherwise, the answer is in the document. Okay, thank you very much. Now, the project intervention areas, as I said, is URR, Sierra North and South, and 7 communities in Sierra North, and then 1 production site, Sierra South. And that production site is always misleading. Jahal and Pachar is not limited to Jahal and Pachar. We have more than 36 to 50 communities concentrating in Jahal and Pachar. So it's targeting all those communities, and 485 hectares PC will be developed in the rehabilitated in that area. So, and then Badia is concentrating on Sierra North, and then ISDB, Islamic Development Bank, is Sierra South, Jahal and Pachar, and URR. That's where they are. Governor of Gambia is all over in all the intervention areas. Now, if I would be allowed to do it by component by one, rising production and productivity. Now, is to develop pump irrigations and tidal. Now, if you look at some of our intervention areas in Sierra North, pump irrigations is what is ideal. Tidal, some of the areas are very far from the source of river where you have fresh water. So if you want to do tidal there, it's not possible. What is possible there is pump irrigation. So the project is into 2 schemes, both pump and tidal irrigation. And wherever tidal irrigation is more cost effective, we go for tidal irrigation. And wherever pump irrigation is more cost effective and sustainable, we go for pump irrigation. This has been done, and we hire, that is history now, the design and supervision consultants who did all that is supposed to be to look at the intervention areas. Verification here and there were done for all these areas. The diesel design and supervision that is also has been shared with the project and IDB and the government of Gambia. All those things have been done. And also, as the the PC was saying, the project is into also soil analysis. There's a component called soil analysis, profiling of Gambian soil. Because as he said, what we do mainly is NPK. NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And generally, Gambian soil are very rich in potash, K, but they're very, very deficient in phosphorus. And even legumes, they need starter dose for nitrogen. And this is the problem. Now, if you have 15, 15, 15 of NPK, before you get enough dose of one component, the crops are overdosed with the other component. So you get then enable canopy development. And the whole people will tell you, farmers, oh, it's only canopy development. They don't get any seed there, but there's no time to develop and have the seeds and nurture and dry. So if you uproot it, you don't see anything there. All that you see is the canopy, because the crop is overdosed with one of the elements. Okay, and Gambian soil are very rich in potash, slash and bony, but they are very deficient in phosphorus and nitrogen. This is the problem. So you have 15, 15, 15. Before you get enough dose of P, it's overdosed with potassium. This activity has been done, completed, and the report submitted, so that we'll not do business as usual. Apply or advise farmers to apply 15, 15, 15. But we'll customize this. Now, we'll know, as the PC said, in the project intervention area, which element is more deficient in the soil and which crop. We're into rice. And rice, you need a lot of phosphorus and that dose of nitrogen. And then for potassium, alhamdulillah, we have enough of potassium in the Gambian soil. So we'll advise them, based on the report, that your area, you don't have to apply 15, 15, 15, but then maybe 30 or 40% of phosphorus, and maybe only 5% of potassium, and maybe only 15% of nitrogen. So the report is about that, so that you don't waste your resources spending on something that you don't need. Then you save whatever you have, and nobody has everything in this country or in the world. Now, rehabilitation of one seed store, for National Seed Secretariat also, they are into certified seed production. We need to give our farmers good seeds that are improved, high yielding, and then early mature. What they call climate smart agriculture seeds, which is very important. The rain season now, we don't get more than 45 rainy days. Now, you don't get 45 rainy days, and the crop you have needs about 120 rainy days. So you have to look at that and then be careful of what you do. If the maturity period of the crop is 120 days, and then the rainy days you have in the country is only 45, then what do you do? Complement it. But then most of our area, 99.9% of our area, will going to be irrigated. So either pump or tidal. So where we don't have enough rain, then it can be pump irrigation or tidal irrigation will continue. For NSS, their sites are being identified and consultants are on it, contractors are on it already, as well as to build a micro laboratory for them, seed testing laboratory, where they will be able to test their seeds and see the agility and the composition of the seeds the seeds that they have. Because some of the things that we call seeds in this country, they are very careful. We call them planting materials. Because seeds, they have their characteristics. Planting material can be anything. So what we want is certified seed production in the Gambia, and some of the farmers can specialize on that, and they already specialize on that, on certified seed production. A lot of women are on that, and men who are getting 3 times more than what they could get from their planting materials, and is supporting NSS on that, and also supported NSS on 2 power tillers and 1 brand new tractors to help them, be able to produce all over their intervention area. That is not limited to where we are intervening. But wherever NSS is intervening, they can use those farm implement in those areas. Now, as I said, we'll also rehabilitate 15 hectares of their production site at Sapo, and then also develop another 15 hectares new for NSS in Sapo and Sierra North also. So it will be 15 new and 15 old one to be rehabilitated so that they get what they wanted, leveling and so on and so forth, water distribution, the canal, the primary and tertiary canals also, because all the canals are full of aquatic weeds here and there, and then the silting the canals. And sometimes the silting the canals, you widen them and deepen them. And where, if the canals are full to the capacity, I'm afraid to cross it. What about a poor woman, an old woman of 60? Can that woman cross that? And if you accidentally fall into the canal, you can die. Somebody dies around Sierra North, pregnant women for that matter, woman for that matter, sometimes they go and fell into the canal because by the silting, you deepen the canal and widen it. So which means the depth of the canal will be increased. So we are looking at agriculture is aware of that, and they are conscious of that one also. They will look at the canals and try to do what is appropriate so that anybody can cross the canal without fear or whatever at any level. So that will be done for them also for NSF, that is National Seed Secretariat, because they are the one responsible for certified seed production in the country and look at our seed bank also. These 2 schemes, we've already started the process and it's going on fine. And procurement of tractors and 2 power tillers, as I said, was also done for them. Component 2, agribusiness and market development, which is very important. We don't only produce and leave them in the field. What do we do? After production, the other side of agriculture is what? Processing, marketing, and so on and so forth. And that post-harvest activities are very, very important, without which you cannot maintain the freshness of your produces. Even rice, the quality is very important. Now, if your harvest is raining, you don't have a drying flow, you don't have a good storage facilities, it's being infested by insects, it compromises the quality. And if the moisture content is down, you have a lot of water in it, can reduce the quality, and the palatability of the end product can also be compromised. Now, this is done on for market information system also. It's also there so that you click on it and you get what you wanted, and then you'll be informed of the price here and there in the market, as well as management information system, so that the click of the budget, you get everything about the project, as our sister project is doing, Rise Value Chain Transformation Projects is doing. These 2 projects have a lot of things in common in most of the intervention areas. Now, the project is also, as I alluded to earlier, into drying floors, where after harvesting you will dry your seeds or your produce, the grains, before you store them and then process them. Now, drying floors have been, construction is going on very well in 9 of our communities, intervention areas, and also storage facility, district store of 50 metric tons. Now, this storage capacity would be 50,000 metric tons, district stores, big one, so that after harvesting, the women, when they harvest, most of the rice farmers are women, when they harvest, they will be able to dry them. Then after drying, they will be able to store them before they are processed. Now, this is going on very well, and we hope to get it completed by end of August. according to the contractor. It's going on very well, and if you go there, some of these areas will give you areas as the Honorable Chair already alluded to, where we are and things that we expect to see and the level there. The contract committee has been going on. As I'm talking to you now, the management contract committee is in the field. Look at the status of some of those things that we are talking about. This has been done and is on it and expected to complete it, some of them by end of August next month. So you'll have the opportunity when you go into the field to look at those things. Component 3 is policy and institutional support. That one also, we have what we call Wakala agreement with the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs and SDF. Wakala is Arabic word, meaning loaning agreement to give loan to farmers. And then this loan is not conventional. It will be Sharia compliant. In fact, it's Sharia compliant. The money has been given to SDF. We gave them about $500,000. Already been given to SDF for about millions of dollars to give to farmers on Sharia compliance. Okay, there is no interest on it, nothing absolutely on it. It's different from the conventional one, where you have 15%, 20, 80%, whatever percentage you have. This is Sharia. Why? Because 90% of our farmers are Muslims. So if you give them something that will involve interest, they will say, no, it's haram. We don't go into usuri here and there. So this is Sharia compliance. And then this agreement has been signed with the Minister of Finance and SDF, and a lot of training because new area has been conducted. 2-3 trainings have been conducted in the country by the consultants. Al Huda is based, it's a Pakistan firm based in Dubai that won, and all the procurement processes were followed. And they trained the service providers, SDF, and the PMU and other MFIs, agrofinance institutions have been trained on how to go about it. Now, where we are, as they promised next week, they've already gone into pre-selection of the farmers, but it's going to be our intervention area farmers. And it's not leaving into the producers only. Anybody in the value chain and related to rice, and then will benefit those intervention farmers, it's going to be considered. So the agreement is developed and MOVI signed, that is Minister of Finance and SDF, and Agriculture is only a witness to it as the implementing partner. Now, the consultant, as I said, was recruited, everything is done, and the training also done. The SDF now is into pre-selection of the farmers who are going to benefit from it. And also, we discussed Islamic insurance, takaful. Islamic insurance we discussed it briefly to look at it. Now, if a farmer is given a loan, or a marking grant for that matter, and there is a disaster that is beyond his or her control, what do you do? Like windstorm, inundation, flooding, fire, and so on and so forth. They have criteria that they follow. And then what can takaful do? Takaful is the Islamic insurance to help them recover whatever losses they've incurred. So we discussing with the microfinance institution as well as the takaful, those are the insurance, to look into that and things that will qualify anybody to get into their benefit if, may God forbid, you have natural calamity, fire, pest and disease here and there, hippo, some of our areas are prone to hippopotamus, like even monkeys here and there. So those kind of things, yes, you will never be left alone. There will be somebody supporting you, but then we are encouraging them to do best. Now, if you look at, as I said, the training, Islamic microfinance, yes, the concept is not new in the country, but practically to practice is very new. And one thing that everybody at the training came to realize that you cannot sell something that you don't own. Islamically, is haram. I said, I want a mobile, and he's a businessman. So he said, I have a mobile, I can sell it to you. When he doesn't have it, he'll go around and look for it. You cannot sell it to me because you don't have it. So you only sell what you have. You must have possession of it first before you sell it. So those kind of things, all the jargon there, some of them are new. Well, of course, a lot of government farmers are practicing Islamic microfinance, but then when it comes to practical, I think it is difficult. So all those things were thought, and the don'ts and those also, and everybody appreciated it. Now, for there also, the project need to set up an advocacy unit at SDF, meaning sensitization, informing farmers, the availability of the resources, what is available there, the objective was, what do we want to move farmers from where we are to the next level, so that our farmers are not always beggars we want this, we want this, we want this, we want that. But when you wanted that and you got it, what do you do next? Can you stand on your own? You have to be assisted.
This is the question, is a comment. Before you go for that, because I didn't put it in the list of my question. It's just a comment. When we are to improve agriculture in the country, let's just make sure it doesn't look like it's only for Muslim farmers. Let's make sure that everybody, all the religions, see themselves in it. If we say Islamic finance, you want them to look at Islamic finance. This might be Christian, might feel otherwise. So let's just make sure when we are bringing these terminologies, all the religious sects see themselves in the process, please. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you very much. That is noted. As noted, we'll summarize and then go. That is noted. It's called Islamic microfinance, but it's not limited to Muslims.
Actually, this Islamic finance doesn't exclude Christians.
No, they are
in fact, it's that they have to go comply with the Islamic.
It's the principle.
Yeah, but that's not good for them. They have their faith. So subjecting them to accept a circumstance like on an umbrella of one religion is not acceptable.
Noted. Noted.
I'm a Christian, but I have to access this loan by accepting Muslim terms. That's what
Now,
Yes, it's noted.
yeah, thank you, Honorable, for
So much.
now, I'm summarizing now. I'm summarizing now, but that's a good point.
We don't want to talk about that issue. So I think the project is already designed and approved. So it has to be implemented that way.
Thank you very much.
We have to.
Please allow him
So when you say we are not going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
We'll talk about it, but then we don't have the time for that. Allow him to first. Yes.
Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
Thank you very much. I'm going to summarize. Yeah, that's the principle. The principle is just to follow the principle, but not to live your faith. If conventionally you are taking, you pay interest. For this one, the reason they say Islamic microfinance, you don't pay any interest. Regardless of your religion, no interest is being paid. That's all. It's only the Islamic microfinance, meaning that you don't have to leave your religion, you don't have to do it. The only thing, you don't have any interest upon what you borrow. There's no interest. So that interest word, that's why they call it Islamic microfinance. But Christians are accessing it. Anybody can access it, as long as we are into rice production. That's it. Yeah, that's it. As long as we are into rice production, yes. And then one thing also, the PPP, as I alluded to before briefly, there was one meeting conducted in Brikamaba, Foladu, if you know, and attended by thousands of people, and those in the diaspora also attended the meetings through virtual. And one of the private partners said he is interested to invest in 1,000 hectares of land, and then will go into agreement with the farmers or the landowners and so on and so forth. And through that meeting also, the Gambia House in Norway also they expressed interest, and then they are presently helping about 30 women through the projects, or giving them loans because of that meeting. So, and then there will be another meeting held on the 10th of August next month, where some of the people in the Gambia and where a minister will attend that meeting, where they are supporting farmers because of our intervention and because of the PPP approach the project is using. Now, also, we say, okay, what is the approach? It's going to be individual, or is it going to be farmer organization or cooperative? It's both. Now, individual through the value chain analysis, individuals who are strong and they can do it will be supported. Farmer organization also will be strengthening so that you do the farmer organization approaches, and then farmer organization at the village level will also be encouraged to form cooperatives at district level. Okay, at district level, then you have a strength, and you can meet, you can organize your things, and you can discuss as farm organization and as cooperatives also. So all these things will be strengthening, trainings and so on, capacity buildings are there, because we want sustainability, train the farmers, let them know what they're supposed to do, what is there ahead of them. That one is ongoing, and a lot of things have been done in that area also. Cooperatives will establish 8 cooperatives in our intervention region. Cooperatives are not at village level. At village level, we have farmer organizations where farmers will come together, have their laws and values. They will be meeting, organizing whatever they want. And at district level, they have their cooperatives, where each community or each intervention community would have a member in that cooperative. So whatever they discuss, filter down to the organization and to the last person in that farmer organization. Okay, a lot of things has been done. Let me just conclude this. without going into our challenges, I'm sure the PC I will allow you to go into the challenges, right? PC.
We mention one or two.
Okay.
Where they can come in.
Well, one of the challenges we have is the main challenge is mobility, and people have the assumption that agriculture has a lot of more vehicles here and there, but agriculture get to the last person in this country, up to Kemoto, the most remote place in this country, Kemoto, we get to them, no matter what. And it's difficult to trek from Sankandi to Kemoto. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I will not call Kemoto anymore. But it's difficult. We go to the most difficult area. Honorable Daba will tell you. It's an agriculturalist. We'll go to the most difficult areas. And if you don't have the vehicle, some of the areas, if you're stuck in, you need a tour.
So who is facing this mobility challenge? Is it the projects?
Extension workers.
Who is facing mobility problem?
We, the project, we have only 2 vehicles. 2 vehicles with 8 experts.
Okay, now we understand you have a mobility challenge. What can you do?
And costing also. Some of the areas are under costed. What should cost $10,000, you put only $2,000 there. So those are the main challenges on the budgeting and mobility. So on that note, we thank you very much, Honorable.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Fayed, for that explicit presentation. I think that's the voice of a veteran agriculturalist. So if we don't control them, sometimes they can spend all
But I'm not happy with my presentation.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I think this time around we have to manage that. Otherwise, there are other committees that are coming to use this hall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
maybe 5 minutes per project.
After you spend 3 hours.
Maybe 5 minutes per project.
Other projects will do 5.
Yes, we can give each
10 minutes, yes. 5 minutes. 10 minutes.